Hey, what's up? Today I want to talk about something very different from my normal videos. Usually I talk about things like game development and programming, but today I want to talk about something that I think applies to just about everybody out there. It's some advice that I wish I would have gotten when I was younger, and it actually kind of sounds game developy, which is a little bit weird, and that is risk versus reward. Now, if you're thinking about it in a game development context or as a gamer, you might already have some idea in mind of what this means. It means choosing challenges or things that are beatable and you're going to get some good reward that makes sense and is worth your time investment to go do that thing, whether it's like in an MMO going on some big quest or any other game you play where you're choosing the content based on some sort of a reward, or maybe even for just getting your skills better. You're not going to go play against complete noobs in a game where you're pretty good because it's just a waste of your time. You might go do it every now and then for the little reward of, hey, I got to destroy some noobs. But if you were trying to grow your skills, then you're not getting that reward by just battling beginners or something. So you kind of get the idea as a video game, but what does this mean for real life? I think that a lot of people kind of understand the video game part and they're able to get that down. When it comes to the real life part, they completely ignore this and they don't take on risks that have any reward and instead just take on lots of risks that have almost no reward or no reward. Usually, oftentimes, there's no reward other than maybe a little bit of adrenaline. So what do I mean by this? Well, I think the first ones are pretty obvious. Some of the bad risks are, they're everywhere. They're things that people do just constantly, whether it's the obvious things like drugs and crime and stuff that's going to get you into big trouble almost automatically, or little things like just driving insanely fast or driving too damn close. Or I know a lot of people in my area have like these really beautiful knees that they stare at when they're driving all the time. And I find that like they're looking at their phones, right? They're staring down at their phones the entire time they're driving, usually flipping through Instagram or TikTok or some other crap, looking for something to entertain them while they're driving. Huge, huge risk. And the only reward is maybe I'll be slightly less bored on my drive. I don't think that that's worthwhile because your risk is you might end up dead or in a terrible situation where somebody else is dead and you're in jail or who knows what. And the reward, again, is tiny. And then they don't take the good risks, though. So let's talk about what some of the good risks are. Because I think talk about bad risks, there's a lot of them out there and you probably already know the bad risks you take. But it's hard to get people to stop taking bad risks. It's a lot easier to get them to start taking good ones. So let's talk about what these can be and why I think that you should get on them and what the benefits are. So good risks, trying something new. So going out there and actually trying something that you find somewhat interesting, going and getting into it and looking into it, whether that's joining some new club, just doing a little bit of research and trying something out on your own. It could be something like building something with your hands, weaving a basket, I don't care what it is, building something with electronics, designing something, decorating, whatever it is, getting out and trying something new definitely is almost always worthwhile. The risk is really small. The risk is that, hey, maybe this thing goes wrong. Maybe I blow a little bit of money. Just obviously don't blow a ton of money on something you're not sure on. But the risks are relatively small. It's usually a small time investment to go try out something new, see if you're interested in it. And the rewards can be theoretically really, really large, right? Much larger than the reward for driving 6 inches away from my bumper. All right, I'm going to stop complaining about bad drivers. Let's go on to the next one. So the thing that I think most people miss, and the biggest one, the biggest risk that people avoid, is applying for new positions or trying out and getting into new careers. And this is something that I see happen across all age ranges. I see it happen to all different types of people. They get into a position somewhere, a job. It could be their entry, it could be their first job, it could be their job washing dishes, and they'll stay in that job until they get fired or forced out or something makes them leave and go up to the next thing that's available. It's happened to me in the past. It's happened to lots of my friends, and it still happens to them, and I'm still constantly on, hey, you can do something else. You should jump in and just start applying and trying other things. Now, what are the risks of going out there and applying for new jobs? rejection. That's pretty much it. The only real risk, as long as you don't tell your current employer, hey, I'm going out and applying for new jobs so that they know to fire you or something, the only real risk is rejection. And that's something that people way over, I think they overvalue the rejection. They take rejection as a big thing that really matters, and it doesn't. It's one of the key things that I probably should do an entire video about this, but I think that learning to get over fear of rejection and just realizing that rejection on 99% of stuff just does not matter, and you can just keep moving past it and keep moving past it, and it's totally okay. And to be honest, that's probably the biggest thing that you can get out of this video. I should probably just do a full video about it, but I think that getting over fear of rejection and just getting out there and starting to take risks that have a good possible reward. Look at the things that you can do in your life where, like, look at the things that you would have to do to get to exactly where you want to be, the risks that you've got to take, and just start taking them. Just look at the downfalls. Realize that 90% of the time, the downfall is really small. The risk for taking a chance and doing something is usually just a little bit of time investment, and you can always, not always, but almost always find some time to pull away from somewhere else and put it in there. You know, don't take time playing a game. Watch a couple less YouTube videos. I keep watching mine if you don't mind. Or do something else to save a little bit of time and get in there and do it. Because again, most of the time the risk is just your time, and it comes down to prioritizing it. And make sure that you're spending that time, that energy, and prioritizing the things that are really going to get you what you want, even if they're not guaranteed. In fact, knowing that they're not guaranteed, that every time you do something, it's not always going to work. It's not always going to pay off. And you've got to keep trying and keep putting it out there and keep, I guess, just taking those risks. All right. I feel like I should shut up now. I'm hoping that this is helpful for somebody. Again, it's some advice that I thought would be useful to me a long time ago. It took me a really long time to just get over that fear and to just start taking important risks and not worry at all about the video game risks that I was taking, because really they don't really matter long term. So anyway, I'm going to shut up. Bye. Thanks again. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll talk to you later.